Cooking with Briana. Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is a pizza special spectacular cooking with Briana. So, what you will need is like a big 20-inch pan, round. You can also make it square, I guess, if that's the kind of pizza you're into. The ingredients for the pizza crust, we made this with a bread maker, but you can really do this yourself. You can look up a recipe online. Okay, so what you'll need is 3/4 teaspoon salt, 4 cups all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 1 3/8 cup of water. The bread maker came with a kind of measurement like that, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil or vegetable oil. Let me see something here. 1/8 of a cup is 2 tablespoons. So basically, if you don't have something that measures 3/8, you can just use 6 tablespoons of water, and that will be making up for it. And that's all I know on that part, because it goes into the bread maker and it's kneaded and mixed and rises in there. What we put into the dough was fresh basil, fresh rosemary, fresh oregano, and fresh garlic, all minced up really good. So you've got herbs and garlic thrown out through all the dough. For the pizza sauce, you can use the prepared stuff from the store, or you can use a small can of tomato paste, a normal 14-ounce can of tomato sauce, and 2 tablespoons of honey. In the sauce, you're also going to add the fresh herbs and fresh garlic, the fresh rosemary, oregano, basil, and garlic minced. And you also put a little bit of olive oil in it, and you let that cook and get really hot. You can bake some fresh chicken for the pizza when you get the dough done. For the dough, you need to add flour to it before you can turn it into the crust. And I show what it looks like when it's the crust. So basically, you just work from the center out as it's a ball, and you just keep on working until you get it the size that you want it. And then what you do is you put the tomato sauce in the bottom of the crust, inside of the big crusty part. And then for this one, we added chicken, which was baked before we were done with the pizza dough. Then you get some frozen spinach, and you put the frozen spinach. You put the frozen spinach on there. It's a lot of spinach. You can just put as much as you want if you're making one pizza. If you're making 2, you can get like a bigger bag and then divide it in half. And then after the spinach, we put on asparagus that is from a can, and it is cooked in the can in water and salt, but it tastes really good. After the asparagus, you put on cheese. It can be shredded cheese, sliced cheese, whatever kind of cheese you want. as long as it's a melty kind of cheese that will be stringy and delicious when you cut the hot pizza. After you put on the cheese is the oil. Put olive oil on the crust and it gives it a nice golden brown after it's done baking. For the pizza, what you're going to do is you're going to preheat your oven at 400 degrees while you are preparing the crust, everything on the pizza. While you're preparing, building the crust into a nice round shape and putting your toppings, you will preheat your oven at 400, and then you will put your pizza into the oven for 15 minutes after it is preheated for a very long time. You can add whatever you want to it, but this was just a chicken and veggie pizza. So the next parts you will see are the forming of the crust after it has been formed, the crust with tomato sauce, chicken added onto the sauce, then spinach, then asparagus, and then cheese, and then the oil on the crust, and then I will show you it in the oven afterwards. So that is the Cooking with Briana Pizza Spectacular. So one more thing that I forgot to say for the sauce is you just add a little bit of salt and pepper to it. I'm sure people would do that anyways because they want to get it to taste. Just a little bit of salt and pepper, not too much. And you don't want it really runny. You want to let it thicken up a little bit, so you leave it on medium heat in a pan, and you leave the lid off for a little bit. You want to watch it. You don't want to end up with a glob of tomato goo. So yes, good tip there. Do not end up with tomato goo. So for the chicken, what we did was you put olive oil down in the pan, you put chicken breast down, you add a little bit of water to the bottom of the pan so that even with the olive oil it gives it a little bit of water to help get a lot of juice so chicken doesn't get dry. After putting the water in, you season it with salt, pepper, garlic, anything else that you want, and then you will cook it at 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, and you will know when it's done by the smell because it will smell so good. And then you take it out, you let it cool for a little bit, and you cut it into chunks. Okay? Alright, so this is the second ball of dough. Why am I playing? And it's about to be formed into a crust. Okay, so the dough is halfway done. It's looking like a pizza crust so far. It looks more like a deep dish than regular pizza. So soon it will be a full crust. Alright, so the crust is completed. That's its crustiness. Next, tomato will be added. Tomato being the sauce, the marinara that goes underneath everything. Okay, so this is the tomato sauce marinara stuff. And it looks gross because of lighting, but it's red and it's got garlic and herbs in it, and it tastes really delicious. So there's the tomato. Next is the chicken. The chicken has been added. And next is spinach. So it's a lot of spinach that we put on there, and it's frozen. So yeah, it's pre-cooked and then frozen. Yay! So now the spinach. The spinach has been added on top of the chicken, and it looks really, really, really green. So that's cool. Next is going to be asparagus. This is with the asparagus layered on top of the spinach, put so that the tips of the asparagus are pointing towards the crust. The asparagus is from a can, and it's just spinach that's boiled in salt and water. So, yes. Next will be lots of cheese. Alright, so the cheese is on top of the asparagus. This is just Colby Jack cheese, shredded cheese. I mean, you can put whatever kind of cheese you want on a pizza, as long as it melts. So next is to add olive oil to the top of the crust, and it makes it kind of a golden color when it bakes. So, okay, so as you can see from the shininess of the crust, like a sunbather's back, it's been oiled. So next, it is going to go into the oven and be baked. Yay! Pizza! This is the pizza baking, and it has 6 minutes left, so you will see it when it's done, and it will be a very, very delicious pizza, because I enjoy spinach and chicken. Alright, here is the pizza, fresh out of the oven. See, there's the asparagus on top, poking through the cheese. So that's just about it. You let it go the full 15 minutes, and when it goes off, you turn off the oven, then you grab your oven mitts, and you get that pizza out of there. You can see, like in the dough over here, in the crust, there's different pieces of herb that you can see. So it is a very beautiful pizza, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cooking with Briana. I hope it was informative on how to make a pretty awesome pizza, and I will see you next time in the next episode of Cooking with Briana. Alright, bye! Hi guys, so a couple of tips for you on getting your dough to work with you. Make sure that you cover your hands in flour before you start dealing with the dough. You do not want your fingers covered in the sticky dough. How many times can I say dough? Do not wear jewelry, like loose rings, on your fingers, because you may end up with a ring that you will never be able to get clean, or that is buried inside of the dough. Another thing is you will want to refrigerate your dough before you start forming it into the crust, because the cooler dough is a lot easier to deal with, as the warm dough is sticky. It's a lot easier to form and push around when it's cold. Don't be afraid to experiment with the shapes of the pizza dough, the pizza crust, because if you make yours look different than the ones that we did, that's cool because they're unique. So thanks for watching, especially this last little bit here, because it gives you some extra tips. Make sure if you want some different recipes, you look online and you search pizza dough and you try to find whatever you can on how to do it. If you don't have a bread maker, try looking online for the rising times of dough and try to find something with the same bake time. And best of luck to you. So bye. Thanks for watching.